All right, so we are here for the road opening ceremony. I'm super excited to do this work. This year has been wild and so many ups and downs and twists and turns. Ultimately for our highest good, but definitely not the easiest time for a lot of us, especially coming towards the end with this Venus retrograde and just a lot of just heavy energy, the eclipse, and we've just had a lot of things thrown at us right towards the end of the year. And I really feel like it's ushering us into 2022 with some big things, big energies to kind of play with and also to work through. And anytime spirit is, working on us heavily, it typically means a big blessing is opening up for us on the other side, a lot of opportunity and prosperity, and a lot of gifts are going to be available to people who are willing to do that work. So this working today specifically is going to be about opening the roads, clearing the obstacles, really making our pathway towards whatever it is that we're trying to manifest next year. We want to start, 2022 with this kind of optimism and just this kind of free. Someone's saying that the audio is whooshing, and it's probably because I have music playing in the background. I always have to remember the music. So let me bring it down. Tell me now if the audio is still wobbly. Give me an update if it still sounds wobbly or if I'm good, because I might just cut the audio completely. Yes. Okay, cool. Perfect. So when we do a road opener working, typically people will do a road opener when they are finding that there's a lot of blockages or stagnancy, or they just keep coming up against opposition towards their goal. Sometimes people will do a road opener work before they do another spell working, just to prime the spell working for success and to guarantee that any unforeseen obstacles kind of get obliterated before you actually step into calling something in. This work is going to kind of serve as that. Some of you guys actually had petitions of specific things that you wanted to clear the road for, which I made sure to write that on your petition. And then some of you guys were more general and just kind of wanted an opening for all roads in your life to kind of be primed for success. And then of course, like I said, when we're doing this work, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and manifest what it is that you want. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and pursue the things that you're passionate about. It just means that we are setting ourselves up for success, and anything that has been blocking us this year, kind of leaving it behind. We're stepping onto a new path, one that is prepared for us, one that is victorious, one that is filled with prosperity and good fortune and health and more loving energy and more recognition and honor and respect for the things that it is that we contribute in this world and in our community. And, any other lucky, fortunate things that we can kind of find along the path. Really starting 2022 with as many advantages as we possibly can. So I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to be teaching you how to make a road opening powder, which you can then turn into a road opening oil, which I will show you my road opening oil. I've used it pretty heavily, and I love to add it to any spell working just to kind of give it a little boost. And then we'll kind of talk about the Solomonic practice that you can add to that working. And then I'm going to teach you how to make a road opening shaker jar. And this is something that you can use throughout 2022. And before we dive into that, I want everyone to know that each one of you guys has your own individual candle this time. I decided to, since there's not that many of us for this working, I decided that everybody would just get their own individual candle. So these are 7 days, and each one will be read separately. You're gonna get a picture, kind of going over, reading the actual candle, the glass and all of that, and you'll have yours, and this is mine. You'll have your petition here and all that jazz. And I'll make sure to do a breakdown like I do for all of my rituals. So just stay tuned for that. But this probably will take about I wouldn't say 7 days. It's probably going to take like 4 to 5 days. Typically, people say 7-day candles, and it's not really 7 days. So everyone has their own candle. Some of you guys did not send in your petition. Actually, just one of you. So it's going to be the same one that I had set for everyone, which is basically to open the road for success in love and health and finances and career, and to remove any obstacles. So pretty basic and general, so to speak, but touching all the things that we need to touch on. Again, like I said, I'm going to teach you guys how to do the road opening shaker jar. We're going to start by making the powder, and then we're going to anoint and light these babies up. Okay, so I'm going to be turning it into an actual powder here on camera. So I'm going to be putting it in my coffee grinder just because it's much easier that way to get it down to a fine powder. I'm going to try to mute in between me grinding it up so you guys don't have to hear that in the playback, but we'll start right now. Hold on, let me just put some more stuff on the coals here. All right. So if you've watched my road opening powder video that I did a long time ago, the beginning of 2021, actually, maybe it was in 2019. Not 2019, 2020, I don't know. But either way, I made a video about how to make a road opening powder. This is a similar formula. I'm gonna be adding in a couple of new items, but feel free to kind of do what it is that you feel comfortable with in your practice. Some of the things people might not want to use, and based off of your spiritual path, I'm not here to tell you what or what not to do, but I know I have to say that because there's always someone worried about cultural appropriation or worried about whether or not they can use it or if it's going to work for them. And so I would just say, I'm going to go through each individual item. If you have something in your specific practice that you feel would be a better substitution, go ahead and do that. But I can't tell you what that is because I don't know each one of you guys' individual spiritual paths and your background and how it is that you're practicing. But these are pretty staple items. And also most of these items that I'm going to be sharing with you are things you can buy at the grocery store. They're not super, they're not like curio items. Some of them are. There are some curio items on here, but a lot of them are things that you would eat with. So it shouldn't be too hard to obtain these things. And yeah, it shouldn't be too expensive for you. So we've already broke down what a road opener is. We're going to jump right in. Okay. So I have quite a bit of herbs here, and man, I don't even know where to start. Let's start with frankincense because I also need to put some on the coal, so we'll start there. And of course, I always use frankincense in all of my working. These are just little pebbles here, and I always like to use frankincense as spiritual protection, spiritual support to boost whatever work that I'm doing, but to also increase any type of spiritual influence that may be affecting us opening our roads, right? It could be as simple as the environment that we're living in could have some spiritual energies that are playing a factor and why things are maybe stagnant or stopped up. It could be moments where we've stumbled upon something or we've accidentally walked into an energy and we didn't really know spiritually that we have kind of fallen into some type of snare or trap. So having some spiritual support here and some protection is always a great way to kind of cover your bases. So I'm going to bless and activate that. right, so move this frankincense over to the side. Where do I want to go next? Yeah, let's do lemongrass. So next we're gonna add in some lemongrass. I love lemongrass as a blockbuster road opening ingredient. It's also the base for most uncrossing work. And so if you are, if you've ever done an uncrossing, typically, or if you've ever bought an uncrossing oil, there's typically either lemongrass in the oil or some type of lemongrass fragrance, but it's really great for cutting and clearing energies that have already kind of been playing a role. And so an uncrossing, if anyone who's watching this doesn't know what an uncrossing is basically clearing away a cross condition. So it's a series of unfortunate events that, you know, happens more than a typical just, you know, life situation. It's just like typically when people do a cross conditions, it affects their health, it affects their money, it affects their job, their family, their relationships. These little unfortunate events that accumulate and continue to kind of compile and kind of block or cross up your ability to make headway in any direction. So when we're doing a cut and clear, or when we're doing an uncrossing work, we're basically removing that effect and allowing the gates to kind of open up. So we're gonna bless and activate the lemongrass for that purpose. All right. Ooh. Okay, so next I'm going to add in some licorice root. Now this, I don't know if you can read it, but this is actually kind of maybe a surprising ingredient, because typically licorice root is used as a domination and control root. And the reason why we're adding in licorice root, hold on, let me move this over here because I actually have like a long list of a bunch of things. Yes, it's used for domination and control because we want to be in a position of power in whatever it is that we're doing. But it's also allowing us to have the upper hand in our life and whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. So if you're doing a road opening work in the future to prepare yourself for another spell, let's say you're doing a road opening work and then you're going to do a spell for to get a new job, or you're going to do a road opening working and then you're going to do a spell to find new love. You want to have the upper hand in any situation. What it is that you are asking for is what will happen. You are dominating the situation. You know, you are the authority in that situation. So it's sort of kind of like an empowerment, but not so much. It's just to kind of put the directional force in your hands, basically. And so that's what we're going to bless and activate it for. Right. Ooh, okay. All right. That was nice. So let's talk about the next one. So I'm going to be using some Master Root, and Master Root is great for empowerment. It's great for self-mastery. I always like to add a little bit of Master Root to any of my uncrossing or my road opening workings, because at the end of the day, a lot of times what holds us back is self-discipline. Being able to do the things necessary to get us where we want to go sometimes just it's not a factor of an obstacle outside of ourselves, but within ourselves. And so that dedication to self, that dedication to doing what needs to be done to get what it is that we are trying to get, I want that imbued in this road opening work, because it might just be, don't think I can break this piece. No, I don't. I tried. I thought I was going to be able to break it, but that didn't work. Let me spec a little piece over here. Yeah, there we go. We kind of want to attack it from all sides. And so we want to make sure that we're doing the internal work necessary to support the outside results that we were trying to manifest. Okay, so we're just going to bless and activate it for self-mastery and empowerment. Okay. Ooh, I felt the heat in that. Okay. Right. So trying to move things around accordingly. Okay. So try not to mix it up. Okay. So next we're gonna add in peppermint. You can actually add any type of mint. This is what I have. You can add spearmint, whatever you feel led to. Peppermint is great for bringing circulation and bringing back flow into areas. And of course, this is a road opening. We're clearing the path. We're allowing things to move and breathe easier, right? And if you want to just think about even what it feels like to take in a little bit of mint, chew some mint gum, what that does to the senses, to the sinuses, how it is able to flush and open things up. That same vibration carried over into the spell working, as well as bringing in good fortune, right? And good luck to what it is that we're trying to do. So we're going to bless and activate that. I'm going to put quite a bit because I'm going to save whatever we don't use. I love the way it smells. Okay. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to add in some rose petals. Roses, obviously people will use rose for love and connection. And some of you guys set intention that you wanted the road to clear in your love life. Now, if you're going to be using this for that specific type of working, you could actually do a road opening powder specifically for love and relationships. And there are recipes out there for that, or you can just make your own, whatever you feel, and just kind of use more love elements. But this is going to be mainly used for releasing tension from a situation. Because typically when you're doing a road opener, it's as a result of things not really being super great, right? There's a closure on the lane, right? So that can bring tension, that can bring discomfort, that can bring imbalance, that can bring just so much just grief. And we want to relieve ourselves of that and bring back some ease back into our lives. This also helps for more positive energy to come through because we're not, it's hard for me to explain, but clenching, that makes sense, it sounds weird, but clenching from all the strain and the stress. And if you have been going through the type of year that I have been going through, it has been a lot of just like hanging on, right? Just trying to push through, trying to get through. And especially towards the end of the year here, being able to let go, to release, and to be able to receive what it is that you want is also a battle, right? You know, it's not just about getting the thing and achieving the thing and having the opportunities. You can block your own blessings merely from having the anxiety of, you know, whether or not you can actually relax into it, really be present with the thing that you've manifested. So we want to release that. We want to release that. We want to calm that down, because we know this is not only going to bring that to us, but we want that to be a part of the way that the work impacts our lives. That as a result of us opening our roads, tension is released in whatever aspect of our lives that this is, you know, playing a role, and wherever it is hitting each one of our roads, love, finances, health, the way that we see ourselves, whatever the case may be, tension is relieved, okay? Okay. And on that same note, we're going to add in some lavender. Okay. So I guess similarly, lavender can be used for releasing tension, but I'm going to be more focusing on peaceful transitions, right? When we are going from one phase to the next, it's not always guaranteed that the way that we transfer from one space to the next, or one timeline to the next, or one outcome to the next, that it will be a peaceful transition. It may be the transition that we want to have, but sometimes a lot of things have to fall apart and fall into place for us to get there. And that can also be just as stressful, right? We may be getting what we want, but it was hell to get it, right? So we want to imbue some type of energy into that allows for us to transition peacefully into our success, into our victory. And ooh, this smells so good. It's also gonna make the blend smell amazing. So I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna be generous here. And you know, some people don't really like the smell of lavender. Some people are allergic to lavender, which I did not know that, which is so sad. It's really sad to hear that somebody's allergic to lavender, but hey, to each their own, okay? So let's bless it. Spirit guides, ancestors, and angels, all the sisters beyond the veil, I bless and activate this lavender to bring peaceful transitions into reality. That as we transition away from 2021, all the heavy burdens, all the obstacles, all the things that weigh us down, that have slowed us down, that have made us feel stagnant or stuck, or just brought discomfort in any way, we transition into this new year with positive energetic flow, ready to receive our blessings with an open heart. Okay. So next we're going to add in some cinnamon. You can use cinnamon, actual cinnamon sticks, but I'm going to be using cinnamon powder. It's just easier to deal with. It's already in powder form. And of course, cinnamon is great for bringing in good fortune and good luck, especially when it pertains to money, but it's also great for raising vibrational frequency. It's also a great stimulant, gets things moving, gets things flowing. Same if you wanted to add in a little bit of cayenne, if you wanted to this mix. I would be a little careful with adding cayenne because if we're talking about peaceful transitions, you don't want to do anything that's too hot that will burn or sting or any of that. And those energies are not typically connected to just like good feelings, right? But it can be, it all depends on you blessing it for that specific vibration. But cinnamon is a great stimulant. It also has metaphysical properties of good fortune. So we're going to bless and activate the cinnamon, not only to bring good luck and, you know, good fortune, but to raise our vibrational frequency. Okay. They raise our vibrational frequency. We become unmatched to the things that we call it. We become vibrational match to the good fortune, victory, and success that we're calling to our lives. I ask that the good fortune reign supreme and circulate and stimulate in every avenue, every mode, all right. Next is going to be cloves. We're going to do some whole cloves here. Now, I like using cloves as hex breaking, curse breaking. It's really great for just blowing back any type of negative energy that is kind of lingering, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Also, just what clove does, I believe it's antibacterial or antiviral, but it's very strong. I mean, the scent is overpowering. It really can pack a punch. But in this working, it's going to be mainly used for power, okay? Just complete and total power in this work, okay? Ancestors, angels, all assistants, they light, bless and activate this work. It brings power into this work. We are empowered on our path, empowered in taking action towards the things that we desire. There's power in our success, power in our actions, power in our words, power in our magic, in all aspects of our life, in all worlds, in all avenues. In faith, and so okay. Next, we're going to add in some celandine. Celandine is an herb that definitely cannot buy at the grocery store. This is going to be used to unlock things that have been closed, right? Unlock the road, unlock the doors, free us from imprisonment of the mind. It's also used for wrongful imprisonment in general. People will use it in justice workings, court case or court workings and things of that nature. They will also use it in things like protection workings against police brutality, or, you know, people who will use it for protesting. They'll add a little bit of that into like a sachet to protect them while they're out there peacefully protesting, whatever, from getting taken to jail, basically. So this same energy imbued in our working plays that role of unlocking the doors, freeing us from imprisonment, whether it be within our own selves, ways that we have locked ourselves away. You know, sometimes the key to our success and the key to our victory is merely allowing ourselves to step forward and be free to express and experience and to move, right? Giving ourselves permission to re-engage in the world and go down the path. And sometimes we literally are in a situation that we have been kind of stuck in, imprisoned in, trapped in, and this is going to be that freedom, right? So I'm just gonna add a little bit more. So your guides, ancestors, and angels, I ask that you bless and activate this sanity, all things that have held us up, trapped us, kept us tied down. We're free. Doors be unlocked. The road to us now becomes free. It's freedom in the mind, freedom in the spirit, freedom in the body. We are able to step forward fully and completely into this work, unencumbered by any feelings of entrapment or imprisonment. Total and absolute freedom with more faith, and so it is. Okay. All right. So use these. All right. So I'm also going to be using some bay leaves. Bay is a great wishing herb, but we're just gonna bless and activate this bay pure and simply for blessings. Blessings, specifically wishes, things that we're trying to manifest, any type of goal or desire, to be the blessing, to be the thing that is activated, to be christened with a little extra support. Okay. A couple of them. And of course, we're going to be, actually feel like we'll see some more in there. We're going to be grinding this down, so it's going to be more of a fine powder, but I do like to break these up a little bit here before I give my blender a chance. Give it a fighting chance, okay? This bay leaf, let it be the blessings and the good fortune, the gifts given, the wishes granted, blossoming, coming true in all avenues, in all worlds, in all lives. Full faith, Hashem, Next, we're going to add in some cedar. Cedar is great for protection. And we also want protection on this road. Maybe people don't think about this necessarily, and some of these other things can be doubled as a form of protection. You could bust the clove as a form of protection. You could use any of the other things that in this blend for that work. I'm using this specifically for protection along the journey from people who may try to negatively impact the work that we're doing. Sometimes when you open up your roads, right, and you start getting the things that you've been asking for, success starts coming into your life. People are jealous. Plain and simple, people are jealous. They're hating ass motherfuckers, and they want to take that from you. Their negative energy, even if they're not actually planning on doing anything, so say, yep, even if they're not planning on doing something about their negative energy, about the fact that they feel like they should get it, or they should have it, or, you know, why you get to have all the good things, whatever, can sometimes just negatively impact the work that you're trying to do. And so you just want to protect yourself from that completely. If you already know that the roads are going to be opening for you, there's no reason why you shouldn't put a little bit of some thorns on the path, on the side, to just, you know, some guardrails and some security cameras or something, to just make sure that when you walking down that path, ain't no motherfucker gonna jump on the path and try to be like, can I get some? Or, you know, try to throw something midway, right? Cover your bases as much as you can. So that's what we're gonna bless that cedar. And something's also telling me to add some cedar to the coal. So that is what we're gonna do. Cedar to the coal. All right, Let's not activate this cedar. There'll be protection on our pathway, on our journey. But as we are opening the doors to success and victory in all areas of our life, in all aspects of our life, that we can protect it on that path from all who would try to cause hurt, harm, or danger to us. Full support and protection of our spirit guides, our ancestors, and our angels. With full faith, Ashe, so it is. Okay. All right. We're getting towards the end here. So we're also going to add in some orange peel. Orange peel brings in joy, optimism, favor, just good energy, right? Good luck. So we're going to add in orange peel because that's exactly what we want. You know, we want a little bit of cheer in this work. It's not so serious, right? We want the happiness that comes from the victory and success. I bless and activate this orange peel that bring in happiness, joy, and just complete enjoyment of this work. Be able to really indulge in the beauty, victory, opportunities that are coming forward in our lives, for the road that is open and clear. We're able to see the good fortune, really embrace it and love it, full and open heart. With full faith, Hashem, so it is. Okay. I'm going to add in some sulfur. Can't really see it because the light is very intense over this. Anyways, I'm going to add a little bit of sulfur. I'm going to try not to touch it. Sulfur is great for banishing. It also is just great for blowing things out of the way, completely obliterating and destroying anything that is stopping you from getting what it is that you want. Now, in baneful workings, people will use sulfur as a way to bring chaos and destruction and to just completely wreak havoc in a person's life or in a situation, right? On the same note, we're gonna just transfer it onto a positive side. We are completely destroying and obliterating and blowing away anything that would stop the ultimate success and victory of this work. Any obstacles on the path that are sent to distract us, anything that any evil influences, either by people, spirits, energies, environments, sicknesses, dis-ease, discomfort, anything that is meant to come in and negatively influence and bring chaos to us, we are banishing it. We are throwing a kind of a bomb towards it and blowing it back and blowing it away from us, right? That same intensity coming from whatever this thing is that's trying to stop us gets met with this explosive blowback energy. So that is something I would not skip if you're going to be making this work. But again, if you have some type of substitution that is equivalent to sulfur, I don't know very many equivalent, maybe Vesta powder has a similar effect because it is very explosive and combative. You put it on heat, it'll, blow something back. What's another? Potentially, you could potentially use cayenne, but I would be very careful about that because of the burning elements, the singeing and elements, and just sulfur is a good place to start, right? And then you can find something that you feel like after you've tried sulfur, you find something that's maybe better or comparable, then go for it. But I wouldn't deviate from the recipe with that one, okay? So let's bless and activate this. Spirit guides, ancestors, angels, bless this beyond the veil. I bless and activate this sulfur to move back and banish away any negative or evil influences that may try to hurt, harm, or endanger us on the path. Any obstacles, any blockages, any barricades, anything that is sent to stop, to harm, to distract, to derail, to interrupt, to block the blessings, the success, the victory in the avenues of our life that we are calling for victory and success. We blow it away, we blow it back, we destroy it, we obliterate it, we send it back to wherever it came from, and we clear the path completely and absolutely with full faith. It is. Whew. Right. I am also going to add just a little bit of some of my sage, just like some leftover sage here. You can also use culinary sage, but I'm going to be using white sage. So that's what's going to be in this blend for you guys' stuff. And I know, again, some people have their own hang-ups about using sage. But when you make this for yourself, again, I would invest in some culinary sage you can buy at the grocery store. It has similar metaphysical properties. White sage is a little bit different. It has its own, cultural significances and things of that nature. So there is a difference, but if you're looking for the similar energies of just cleansing and clearing the way that sage does, it's going to do that for you, okay? And in my original blend, the video that I made, I actually used culinary sage for that blend, and it worked just perfectly, okay? So we're going to bless and activate this sage. I bless and activate this one, so to cleanse and clear away. Freedom, clarity, peace, Denise Monroe. Disinfecting the vibration frequency of our path. Anything betray ourselves, our mission, goal, anything that can stop, delay, stagnate, or hinder our success and our victory. We ask that it be cleared. Okay. Coming to the end here, we're going to add in some coffee, okay? Now, it says wake up blend, but you can use any coffee that you have at home. I like this one. It's kind of sweet. And it's from Trader Joe's. It's good. So it already came blended up. That's kind of the reason also why I liked it. So coffee in magical workings brings speed and empowerment to the work, okay? And that's basically what we're gonna bless it for, is to bring speed to this working. That we have speedy results, that we see this come in quickly. Ain't no need to wait. There's no need to drag this out. This is definitely, and especially if you're going to be doing the shaker jar, this is going to be something for quick results. This is not something that's going to be for slow and steady situations. So busting through the blocks, we're opening the doors, we're clearing the floodgates. And of course, when you go to use this blend or this mix in your own workings, you'll keep that in mind. I would always, when you go to write down what you're doing, making any oil or powder, any of that, you want to keep in mind these elements of what each item was imbued for and the overall energies of that. Because if you add this to something that maybe you wanted to see just a slow and steady, gradual progression, and you added something that was going to blow it away, you had that information on file. You knew what was going to happen. So we're going to bless and activate our coffee. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we're gonna add some sugar. This is not traditional. Typically, you're not gonna see sugar in a traditional road opening working or blockbuster working or any of that stuff. This is something I put in my working. You're also probably not gonna see coffee in it. You're probably not gonna see a lot of the stuff that I added into it, to be honest with you. There are some staple things in most road opening workings that are in this, but this is mine. So I do what works for me, and this works. I add sugar in here to sweeten our situation, sweeten our finances, sweeten people to us, sweeten the situation up, right? It's also great for attracting and pulling things in, catch more bees with honey than vinegar kind of vibe, okay? And I find a little bit of sugar, not too much, just a little bit of sugar, does bring some unforeseen opportunities and little things along the way that just, it's just nice. Okay, so we're gonna bless this with a little sweetness, right? We're gonna sweeten our lives. Again, not too much. I'm not gonna go crazy. Yeah, that's good. There we go. I said not too much, then add a little more. Okay. Sweeten it. Spirit guides, ancestors, angels, and all assistants be all here. I bless and activate this sugar that is sweeten our lives, sweeten our situation, sweeten the road before us, opening up kindness and love and good fortune and prosperity to be attracted to us, good, positive, fun, joyful experiences to be attracted to us in all ways, in all avenues, along our path. All right. So we are going to plug this in. Let me see if I can get this plugged in. There we go. And I'm going to, just for a second, I'm going to mute this and then, yeah. All right. So now we have an actual powder, and this is really what you want to go for because, ooh, wow, that smells very strong. You just want to make sure that you are setting yourself up. I have a little jar here just so I can make sure that this is stored properly. This way as quickly as I can. Yeah, this is perfect. And of course, you know, I always like to make a little extra, like, you know, typically when I'm doing these rituals, I'll do perfect measurements so I don't have any left over. I typically will either use similar things or I'm teaching you guys how to do it and I already have some, so I don't want to have extra, but I don't have any road opening powder, so this works out for me. Okay. I got some left over here too. I would also suggest that if you guys don't have a coffee grinder that you're okay with using just for your magical stuff, I would invest in one because this right here is invaluable. It also helps with like when you're doing candle workings, if the herbs are ground up a little bit finer, you don't have to worry about it clogging the candle or the wick if you're making your own candles. It's also great. It emulsifies with the wax a little bit easier, so it doesn't affect the burn. And you can also sprinkle the powders into oils and make an oil with this. So now you can make a road opening oil, or you could sprinkle this into some salt and then sprinkle it in your front doorway, or you could do like a floor sweep with it. There's a lot of different ways that you can use this powder, but it's just better for it to be a powder, okay? So we have our powder now, okay? We're gonna bring our candles over. Move this out of the way. And I don't think you guys everyone can see theirs, but okay. Everyone has their candles. I'm gonna move this over so we're gonna use all the camera space. Okay. All right. So first things first, like I said before, I have here some road opening oil, which I'm just gonna take a couple of drops of this. Now this is my own formula. And I bless this oil with Solomonic magic, and I use the 5th pentacle of Mercury. Now, today is Wednesday, and today would be the day that you would bless this. You would do it in the timing of Mercury, and because Mercury is the metal that you use is clearly, Mercury is not something that you want to be handling. It's not really, you don't have to give an offering, but you would burn some frankincense. You would put out these Solomonic seal for the 5th pentacle of Mercury. And there's a whole process to this. And I will actually send that in the, if you guys don't have it, I will send it to you in the email, a little PDF file on how to do this work. Now, the 5th pentacle of Mercury is, written down here. But from what I know for a fact, what it is, it unlocks all doors. All doors, there's 2 of them. There's one that unlocks all doors and is the key to all doors. So it's kind of a similar thing, a similar situation, but this one specifically, I wanted to emphasize the opening or the unlocking. And the reason why we're going to be using this again, the specific oil again, is because we're going to be blessing a key into this next working. Now, if you want to just sprinkle your road opening into a little jar and then add some oil and then set your intention over it, maybe drop a key into there and bless it and do your own intention, you can do it that way. But I, have my own practice, and I find that having a little bit of spiritual support there too, and Solomonic magic is a really great way to boost any oil, any candle, any crystal, anything that you're trying to imbue with that energy, this is going to have a little extra kick there. So this is going to unlock any door that is closed. Any door closed to you will be opened. So there's this one. I'm also going to add in, this is from Conjure Cardia, New Chapter oil, okay? And we know why. We are stepping into a new year. And this is for new beginnings, new opportunities. To just, we're basically recognizing that we were in an older chapter. We're closing that out. We're understanding that we are making a new story for ourselves. We are beginning a new phase. Okay? And with that oil, I'm going to sprinkle our powder. Okay, of course, I'm going to set my intention for everyone once we're finished and complete. Okay, so you don't really need too much. Okay. I'm also going to add some gemstones. Now, I have some pyrite chips. These are very, very, very tiny chips here. Pyrite is traditionally used in road opening works. It's very traditional in hoodoo practice. But pyrite brings in success, it brings in victory, it brings in favor, influence. It also has energies of the sun and wealth and all of those things. It's the fool's gold energy that we're going to imbue this with. Okay. I also have some amethyst chips. And I'm blessing this amethyst. Before we start doing that, let me just, I'm hearing spirit saying, like, bless those crystals, please. Okay. All right. So amethyst is to open up our intuitive wisdom, to allow us to hear the voice of spirit, to guide us on the path, that we use our intuitive wisdom to make the right choices, to see the signs clearly that we're in the right direction, or turn here, go left, whatever the case may be, to really hone into our intuition. And I think that that's something that gets lost in this working. And sometimes, you know, we get the signs, we don't know how to listen to that. Okay, so we're just going to bless that a little bit of support there in those areas, especially if any of you guys have trouble with your intuitive wisdom. Okay. Okay, we're also going to add in some lapis lazuli, okay? Now the lapis lazuli, I'm using this for charisma, but I'm also going to be using this for spiritual giftings and support, wisdom on how to take hold of things, but getting the success that we deserve, standing in our power when we obtain the things that we want, being recognized and seen and cherished and honored and respected. You can think about how lapis lazuli was respected and honored in Egyptian culture. You know, people would be buried with lapis lazuli. It was a very high sign of spiritual enlightenment and empowerment. These things were really respected, and that same energy we want to be imbued in this work. It also kind of brings in that blue element. When you see any of these workings, typically it's orange, blue, and green, or something like that nature, or orange, white, and blue, as a way to channel that energy. And so we're bringing in that element, that vibration of blue energy as well. So let me just bless and activate this last. Okay. Okay. So this here again. Because I'm just gonna do a little pass. This is just more spiritual support, magical energy to this working. Thank you, Spirit. All right. So we're ready to light these candles. Okay. Woo! Burning my hand. So we're going to allow these to burn. We'll see how each one does. So your names here and your petitions are here. And I will be sending energy and speaking prayers over this for the next couple of days as well. So just know this isn't the last of the work that's going to be done on these candles. But we're just going to move these over for now into our next portion. And you will see that everyone's candle burns a little differently. Energies and influences that are coming up in your life specifically will be playing a factor. And it's always really exciting to see how that's shaking up, okay? So we're going to start with our next working. So we're making our shaker jar. So what you're gonna need to make sure that you have is a mason jar. You can use any type of a mason jar situation that you have, or if you have a specific type of jar that you want to do for this working. The first time I did this, I learned this working from Hoodoo Delish, and then I had to kind of change it because at the time I didn't have certain things, and I needed certain types of, I had a certain type of intention, and I had to adjust it because, that's just how it is. Kind of how you're supposed to do it, right? Get inspired by each other in our practice, and then we find what works for us. So the first time I used this was like a couple years ago, and I really needed to get out of this living situation that I was in, and I needed things to change. I had been going through a lot of different things. I had done an uncrossing at the time too, and I just knew that there was energies around me that were holding me back, holding me down. And I couldn't figure out how to move forward with the work that I was doing. So I saw, it was crazy. I saw the video, it popped up on my feed, and I just went to the 99-cent store. I got me a mason jar. Like I said, I did not have all the ingredients. I did not have even, she didn't have a whole bunch of, difficult ingredients, but a lot of them I just couldn't afford to get. So I had to make it my own. Now, because we already made our powder, we're halfway there in this working. I'm sure you guys can see the candles are going off over here. I'm trying to see if I can move this around so that I can get more energy. Okay. So first things first, cleansed our mason jar. I have a key here. Now this key actually is utilized for something. So I have a second key so I can spare this key, right? I would do a key that's somewhat small. And if you don't have a key that you can give away to this, you can actually purchase a decorative key at a Michael's or something like that. It can be symbolic, a key or whatever the case may be. It doesn't have to actually be a real key, but because this key actually unlocks something, it's functional, right? And some people would say using these types of things, you want to use a key that actually unlocks something, but some of us don't have the luxury of being able to just make a bunch of copies of keys. So anyways, we're going to bless our key. We're going to cleanse our key for this working. And the key represents exactly that, opening the road, opening the doors, unlocking what has been closed, that has been locked away, okay? So we'll start with our petition. Now, I'm actually in love with this petition paper. You can actually purchase this petition paper on Amazon. Let me show you guys, because this thing is, I found it recently, and I'm honestly in love, and I'm probably never gonna go back to any other function. But you can actually get a stack of this petition paper on Amazon, and they burn the edges and stuff like that. So it's not machine cut edges, which is nice for spells. And it's 100% cotton. So the pages even have metaphysical properties because cotton is very attractive. It brings things towards you. So perfect for spell work, perfect for manifestation work. And it burns really well too. So for anyone who likes to do burn ceremonies and stuff like that, I've burned stuff with this. It takes oil really well. It also takes, if you like to do like the ink pen, the little quill pens, it does really well with that as well. So anyways, I just wanted to share that because it was a nice little find. So first things first, what you're going to do is, this is traditional, a traditional function. Now, when Hoodoo Delish did hers, she used psalms. Now you can use a traditional psalms for road opening, but I'm not going to do that because that's not part of my practice. And also, I didn't do that when I first did it, and it worked just fine without that specific function. But what you're going to do is you're going to write your name and your birthday 3 times, right? That's the first thing. Then you're going to turn it to the right, and 9 times you're going to write open the road for success to, or open the road for this or that, or whatever it is that you're specifically trying to intend to open the door for, right? It could be anything, for a new job, for love, for a new home, to, you know, feel more confident in myself, for money, whatever the case may be, okay? You're gonna write that 9 times over your name and your birthday. Then you're gonna turn it again, and you're going to sign it with your signature, like you're endorsing a check 3 times. Now, this part would also be the part where you would put the Psalms over, just write the entire Psalms over the whole thing. Now, if that's something that you feel called to do, go find the road opening Psalms. And I'm sure that there's actually a book that has all of the Hoodoo Psalms in it, but do what feels right for you. Again, if that's not your practice, it's not your culture, it's not what you want to do, this will still work for you without the Psalms, okay? So now I have this. I'm going to anoint the corners with our road opening oil. Hoodoo Delish, excuse me, Conjure Cardia has a good road opening oil, as well as Inexplicable Things. If you are looking for something, if you don't want to have to go through the process of making your own, if you want a really good one, they all have really, really good ones. And so we're going to do a 5-point fixing pattern because this brings it down into the physical reality. Okay. Okay. 5 points. And we're just going to bless and activate that. Okay. Okay, so we have our petition. Now we are going to anoint our key. Okay, we're going to take that oil, put a couple drops in my hand. Be careful because, you know, of course, we put some sulfur in this. It's blended down pretty well, and I didn't put that much in there, but still, you know, if you got sensitive skin, you might want to consider that. Okay. All right. So now you're going to roll your key in your petition. I always like to do it towards myself, right? If you want to close it off, you can do that. I always like to fold it towards me. And now it's in here, right? And we're going to, actually, we're going to set this to the side, okay? Now, in Hoodoo Delicious video, which you can go check out, she is going to be using different things than me, but she uses corn kernels as the base for her shaker jar. I'm going to be using rice. It has the same properties. I'm also going to be using flaxseed, right? This is what gives it its shake thing as well, the sound and the shaking element of this. I like using rice because rice represents fortune, prosperity. Rice in general is used for hearth, and it just means, you know, back in the day, having a bunch of rice meant you were very prosperous. You had a lot of wealth and all those things. So that same energy is going to be imbued in this work, okay? Take a sip of my coffee. Ooh, that's good. So we're gonna bless and activate our rice. And the first time I did this, I didn't put enough rice in here. And I shook this thing up every single day. I'll tell you the whole story at the very end, but you do want to give yourself a little bit of space here. And if you're going to be adding in any big chunky items, you just want to make sure that you've got some cushion for the pushing in here, okay? So we're going to bless and activate our rice. And I'm also going to add in some of my money rice as well. Okay, but I'm going to bless this first. And I'm going to use some of my opulence rice. You can purchase this on my website. It's basically just money rice. I'm just going to add a couple of molds in here as well, because I want to bring in some money, some cash, okay? I'll just mix it in here with the rest of this. Okay. So I'm going to add in some flax seeds. Now, flax seeds are great for money spells, prosperity spells, but it increases good fortune and favor. So because this is a road opening, of course, we want that, okay? And it aids in the shaky element of it all, right? You don't need a ton, just a little bit, okay? Ooh, I can feel that. I can feel that. Okay. We're going to add in some bay leaves or bay leaves. And bay leaves are great for blessings, wishes, prosperity, positive influence. I'm gonna break this up just a little bit, but not too much. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to add some cinnamon. And the cinnamon is for good fortune and good luck as well. Okay. Now we're going to use our road opening powder. Oh, what I was expecting, but hey, it is what it is. I'm just gonna set a little intention over that. Okay. I'm going to add my key tissue paper in here. Okay, it's in here. And then I'm going to add in my gemstones. Now, you can add in whatever is in alignment with your intention. So I'm actually going to switch up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to add some aventurine and some citrine. Aventurine is great for prosperity and success, as well as opening up the heart chakra to receive. Okay. Okay. We're going to add in some citrine. And the citrine is for favor and success. Okay. Oops. Oopsie. I'm going to add my pyrite, again, for success, recognition, and prosperity. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of amethyst. It's my birthstone and also Amethyst is great for, again, tapping into your intuitive wisdom, balancing out your energies. Just for me, it brings me deeper into connection with who I am. So for me, it's important for me to add this. And that's why I said, pick stones that matter to you. Now, if you don't have crystal chips, then you want to use very small, tiny pebbles, as small as you can get of a stone, because I'll tell you right now, I put a kind of a bigger stone. I only had what I had, right? When I first did this working. And I shook that bad boy up every single day, every morning, every night. I shook it. I did not skip a day. And it worked. What I asked for happened. It came through. It worked. And it worked so well that it busted the glass. So there was a perfect little hole where the crystal had busted through. So I didn't see it as a magical thing, but it kind of finalized the spell. Once that happened, I had gotten it, and it kind of just reiterated that I no longer needed to shake it because it was done, it was complete, and I had to toss it, right? But if you're going to be using this continuously, that's something that you want to consider, because that might not be a magical thing, that's just a mundane thing, right? If you have a big chunky crystal and you're shaking it up and smashing it against glass, then it'll probably break, okay? So just keep that in mind. Okay. I'm actually going to put some of my hair into, here we go, into this working. Now, this is just a tag lock. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but how many pieces that'll just come out. I wouldn't suggest cutting your hair if you're gonna use a part of you. If you're gonna be cutting anything, it should be your fingernails, which that's probably what I'm gonna have to do because no hair is coming out, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I don't know many of you guys just keep locks of your hair. I mean, obviously like in your brushes, but I always try to clean my brushes. So I know that's not gonna work. But just take a little nail clipping. Does that go in there? I can't even tell. Did that go in? Did that just fly? Hold up. See, this is the problem with nail clippers. And my nails are clipped pretty well too, so there's a dilemma. Wow. Okay, here we go. All right. So I got a little bit of my DNA. Okay. Now, every single day, I shook this. And I want to say, if you're somebody like me who likes to do experiments, who likes to track your success and the timing of everything that you do magically, then you could write what it is that you are trying to manifest, whatever it is that you're manifesting, and the date. And then today is December 29th, 2021. Okay. And then you can tape it onto the top of this if you're somebody who wants to see how quickly it manifested, or, you know, to track it. And I always do this with in my book of shadows. Sometimes you forget, and then if it's right on the actual jar itself, then you don't have to worry about that. So I have some tape here. Get my scissors. So this will be for me to remember. And you won't need this necessarily. This is not an important step, but again, like I said, I like to keep track of my stuff. And you'll shake your shaker jar every day, setting your intention, imagining what it is that you called in. It's also great if you don't remember what it is that you wrote on your petition, like you forgot or something like that. It can help you stay in alignment with that. And if you decide that you want to make another one periodically throughout the year of 2022, you can do that. You can do this for literally anything that you want. Now, the thing that I asked for was to find a new place, because I was trying to, again, like I said, I was trying to move out of the place that I was at. And I saw a turnaround in 3 weeks. I shook this every single day. I saw a turnaround in 3 weeks, and I saw a turnaround actually a little bit earlier than that, but it didn't fully come into view for myself. Like, it was available to me, but I hadn't considered it as an option, which is why I put in amethyst for this, because I feel like that's an element of it. Sometimes we get things that we want, but we're not able to see clearly. We don't use our intuitive wisdom, or we're clouded in some way, we're questioning ourselves, whatever the case may be. Amethyst, I feel like it's really, really great for that. And we didn't really add anything like that for the actual powder. So that's something to consider when you're doing this work, if you want to add some type of intuitive guidance or wisdom or whatever the case may be. Maybe if you want to bless the frankincense for that, maybe add frankincense and myrrh, or you know, some other like intuitive herbs in there as well. You could do that as well if you don't have a crystal. I saw, so I got basically what happened was, there was a person who had a space, a studio apartment that they were trying to keep. They wanted to move in with their boyfriend, and they wanted to keep that apartment because they wanted to eventually like leave the studio apartment, but it was just such a nice space, and they had got grandfathered into it, and they didn't know if it was going to work out between them and their boyfriend. So they didn't want to lose the apartment and then be kind of like stuck in it. So they needed somebody to stay there, right? And I knew about it. I knew my friend had this issue, but I didn't know what she was going to do. I didn't know if she already had someone there. I didn't think to ask her. And she kind of knew about my situation, but she never said anything to me. So I just thought like, maybe it's not right for me. Maybe she doesn't feel comfortable having me there. I don't know what I was thinking, but that's what I mean by it was right in front of my face, and I didn't really go for it. I didn't attack it the way that I could have. So eventually, at some point, something just happened. Actually, it happened shortly after the glass busted, is when I just said to her, I was like, hey, did you ever find somebody to move into that spot? And she was like, no, like, do you know anyone? And then she goes, wait, don't you need a place? And I was like, yeah, like kind of in a situation. She was like, yeah, dude, like all you need to do is A, B, C, D. And I didn't really even know how I was going to get the money at the time. This is like back, oh my gosh, 2017, maybe 2016. And I had no idea how I was going to come up with the money to move in, because at the time I didn't have a job, and it was like a huge transitional period for me. But it just came. Everything came. As soon as I said, yeah, I want to move in there, like a couple days later, I got the money. Somebody gifted me some money, and it just worked out. And I was able to move in, you know, in that next coming month. And I lived there for 6 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, 6 to 8 months. And then I moved again when she wanted to move back in there with her boyfriend or whatever the situation was. So it works, okay? It works. And I haven't done a road opening shaker jar since then. I've done other types of shaker jars. I always have a money shaker jar on my money altar. And I've done love shaker jars. I've done sugar daddy shaker jars. I've done all types of stuff. And I actually love shaker jar magic because of what it opens up and because of the interaction that you can have with this on a long term. It's also great for people who don't like to burn candles in their space, who can't do that. It also gets your entire body into whatever the work is that you're doing. When you have some type of a physical item there, you can play music. It can be the first thing you do in the morning to kind of like set things up. You can find a way to make this, you know, instrumental, you know what I'm saying? How they used to do back in the day, you know, they used to have their different items and tools to call down rain, to call down all different types of stuff. It's the same thing. That kinetic energy, that kinetic magic is so powerful, and being able to shake things loose and pull things forward into your reality. You guys hear Leo? Here he comes. Come on, buddy. You're on camera. Here comes Leo. You wanna join the ritual? Yes, you do. So this is yes, Leo. Buddy, everyone can hear you. Yeah, they can hear you. So just let you know if we're gonna be loud. This is all recorded, okay? You don't want to embarrass yourself. So yeah, so this shaker jar, one of my favorites, OGs, will always be a staple in my practice, probably till the day that I die, okay? So this is the shaker jar. I'm also going to send you guys a word of power, a road opening word of power that you guys can do at home. It's very, very easy and simple to use. And I'll break it down in the email, and I'll give a screenshot of the actual words of power and tell you how to activate it and use it. It's a road opening words of power. And you can pair that with this if you wanted to shake it and say the words of power, or if you would like to activate it in your own practice at any other point in time, if you're doing your own road working or Leo, stop. Or if you just want to use it by itself, I will include that as well in the work. So before we sign off, I'm going to just kind of give a little, let you guys come over here and see. So let me just move my coffee. Leo, would you like to be a part of the ritual? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because you kind of missed out on a lot of it. There was a whole other part. Yeah, there was a whole other part that you missed. And I don't know that we can get that time back now, because, you know, you had to be here at the very beginning, and, you know, you just weren't. I'm sorry about it, buddy, but it's not really my fault. All right, so of course, every single one of these is going to do something completely different throughout the period of time. Don't be discouraged if right now you're seeing that maybe your candle doesn't have that much juice going. So I'm going to just go along here and just show each one, and, you know, the names here. So it's going to change, right? This work is going to change periodically, and Jazzy, yours is doing really well, by the way. This is going to change. It's going to transform. I'm going to keep an eye on this, and it can just be a sign or a symbol of, excuse me, obstacles that you're going to have to overcome in your personal life to obtain these things. It could be influences that you currently have right now in your reality that are playing a factor. And so when you watch this playback, I want you to also do your own due diligence work. Now that you've learned how to make this road opening oil. You've learned how to do the shaker jar. You're going to have the words of power to activate this. You can support this work, right, on your own, at home. And whatever it is that you're going to be doing to bring in the new year, you can still support this work. Remember, this is going to be something that goes on for the next couple of days. So don't give your power away to this video or to me. Remember that you have a lot of influence in how this shakes out. And, you know, things always turn around in candle magic. I find that, you know, it starts a certain way and then turns out completely different. You know, you can't always tell at the beginning how the magic is going to hit. But I feel like there's one more thing that I wanted to share before I don't know. I think that's it. I think that's it, you guys. So be looking out for an email for your individual breakdowns where I'm going to be talking about, yo, what is it? You're doing a lot of talking right now. You're doing a lot of talking right now. You want a treat? What do you want? No? Okay. Well, you're going to wait for 2 more minutes and then I'll be done, okay? Leo is just, he's like, I've given you this whole time to finish and now you're telling me 2 more minutes? Buddy, you gotta be good, okay? Okay, here, I'll give you a treat. I'll give you one little treat. You sit there and be patient, okay? Good boy. So be looking out for the breakdown for how everything is going to manifest in your specific reality. I will be sending those to you individually. And then also be looking for the YouTube link so you can watch this back and play back. So whether you want to do this working again in the future and write down the spell working and just kind of view. So I'm going to give you another little close up here. Of course, you're welcome. So happy to do this work. I'm so excited for 2022. The energies are so powerful already that are playing out right now. There's just so much available for us in this new year. And Lord knows we all need it. It has been a doozy. It has been a ride, to say the very least. And I'm really, really excited. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this workings. And I'd love to hear how this potentially has manifested in your reality and in your life. If you've seen anything come up or, you know, had any doors open up for you, let me know. Send me a message. And of course, I will be sending you that breakdown once the candles have gone down. You'll get a picture of your specific candle and how it burned. And that'll also be educational as well to learn how to like read the glass and whatnot. But I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here with me live, Jazzy. And I'm wishing you guys all the best in 2022. Be blessed.